Hi, I'm Andre Gaines. I'm the executive producer of The Lady in the Dale. I mean, any story that you want to tell, whether it's narrative or documentary, they really all have to have the same criteria. And the number one criteria is a strong central figure and strong central character. And Liz Carmichael, provided that in spades.
What inspired me to pursue this story was that I saw the Unsolved Mysteries episode from 1989 in 2011. And when I saw it, I think I left with about 100 questions, and I figured I'll just get the answer to those, and that'll be that. And then when I just Googled it, there was like nothing about Elizabeth Carmichael.
America in the early 70s, anybody could be anything they wanted to be. I've got a mother of 5 who's invented a car. Is she famous? No, but she's going to be.
I'm going to knock the hell out of Detroit.
She thought that she would be the next Henry Ford.
It's our job as filmmakers and citizens to seek out and try to better everything. But if business interests outweigh that by burying it, we're going to stay the same and things won't change.
I left there thinking this is a gritty, fearless woman, and I wanted to know absolutely everything I could, but there was just nothing on the internet to the point where I questioned whether she actually existed. And it was like, there was nothing, it was 1 or 2 articles. So what began as a meaningless task on a weekend was just kept going and going and going, and then 1 week became 2, and then became 6 months. I think the biggest pursuit, kind of the turning point, I think in the very beginning, was meeting with Leslie Kendall here at the Peterson. I sat down with him. It was like the first week I saw that Unsolved Mysteries episode, and he played a tape of Liz Carmichael talking. It was about 45 minutes, and it was just the most riveting, incredibly fearless person I'd ever heard, put to tape. And it was just, I was in. It's not flattery, I was in. I was just completely in as to how do I find this person? How do I put this together? How do I craft, what this is? Because nobody had done it.
The way that Allen and I got involved with Nick is actually Allen brought the project to me, and it was the first unsolicited inquiry that either of us had ever answered.
Before, we get a lot of unsolicited emails from a lot of aspiring filmmakers, and typically we don't answer them. But for whatever reason, Nick Cammilleri came through with a teaser that just blew me away about this 45-year-old story from the 70s about this woman who tried to build a 3-wheel car that had got 70 miles per gallon, and there was the mafia involved, and there was the government involved, and I mean, all the elements were right there and then, but it was still from somebody I didn't know. But I did what I normally try to do before working with anybody, and flew out and met Nick on the East Coast, and we had a meal. And after sitting with Nick, I called Andre back and said, Andre, we have a project. And then we all got together and developed the project together and took it to the Duplass brothers, who were naturally our first choice because we feel like they were the right fit for this project and we're like-minded. And everything just sparked in the room.
I would add to that a lot of it is a credit to Nick being somebody that had stuck with this project for, a good, what do you say?
That's right.
8 years by the time you found us? And,
Yeah.
And putting the time and effort into it is really a testament to it paying off in a huge, huge way, and really, I think, a testament to any first-time filmmakers out there that devoting the time and the effort to something that you really, really believe in will ultimately yield what it is that you want it to. Most documentarians are investigative journalists in their own right, and really being able to dig up those things is what makes the story.
What first attracted me to The Lady in the Dale was several things. Firstly, I saw the sizzle that Nick had sent me initially, and I think the first thing that struck me was that for some reason, I may have been too young, but I remember this car. I remember it from my childhood. I may have seen it somewhere, I may have seen it advertised in a comic book, I may have seen whatever, so there's instant recognition in that respect. And then Nick had forwarded the Unsolved Mysteries clip, which I also remembered seeing when I was younger, and I've always been fascinated by these sort of characters on the fringe of society, especially those who take on society. And when I learned more about Liz Carmichael from Nick, yes, she's a flawed character, but who isn't? And so what I admired about Liz is that Liz, against all odds, even with her past, literally created something that is brand new, that is society saving, that could change the way we live. And she did it 50 years ago, and it's sitting right next to me. And we still don't even have this technological capability in 2021, and we should be upset about that.
There's also something that, as producers, that is really our talent, is being able to identify stories that not only matter that not only create change, but ones that are wildly entertaining. And this one fell into all of those buckets.
It only took 45 years, but I think we were able to restore her story and I think give her back her voice and her agency, and I think it's like allow her the agency to tell her story. So I think in the end, I think she would be proud, and I think it's, in a sense, allows a lot of the unfinished business to kind of rest.
What attracted me to The Lady in the Dale, frankly, is I'm a genuine true crime nerd. I mean, this is like my preferred genre, and the preferred genre of a lot of friends of mine. When we talk about things that we like, because there's so much content on television, it's one of the few things that you can kind of find a common thread that a lot of people seem to like. Family is a huge theme in this series. We love The Godfather. It's a mob family. We love Empire, the story of a music family. And in this case, what Liz Carmichael was able to do, which is a completely unique situation for anyone to be in back in the 1970s, is keep her family together while still being on the run, keep her family together while still building this car. In every trial and triumph that she experienced, her family was still there and they were all together. She would work like a dog, but she would always make time on Sunday to get together with the family. She would cook homemade bread and bean salad, and they would go up to Griffith Park and have a picnic. And they would do that, every Sunday. And I think that resonated with me and even our family. In 2021, I think Liz Carmichael would have been received as a hero. I think she would have been received as a folk hero, quite frankly. In the environment that we live in, commerce drives everything. And when Liz Carmichael stepped onto the scene in the 1970s, not only was she the only one, let alone one of two or one of three, but she was literally the only one. I think today that with the multiple startups and tech companies, and every day you read something in the news of somebody starting something new, it really wasn't appreciated back then. Starting something new back in the 70s, even starting something new back in the 80s, there was a club, and if you weren't part of that club, the club of millionaires and billionaires, if you weren't part of that club, you were never invited into that club. What now in 2021, with iPhones, anybody can be a filmmaker. With the internet, anyone can start a social network. Anybody can put videos up and turn themselves into a star. And if Liz Carmichael, was alive, I think her tenacity and I think her degree of being a bombastic person, it would have the same type of reverberation and be received the way that we do for many of our celebrities. And so I think that she was dramatically ahead of her time. When I think about what I want audiences to take away from this series, it really is the idea that if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish enormous things. So many people give up frankly too easily. It's honestly a plague in our industry, just even as producers or writers or directors or anything that people want to try to accomplish. In many cases, they often quit before they really have the opportunity to do this, to achieve it. And with our director, Nick, and Zachary, and particularly Nick having stuck with this project for so long, is really an indication and something that I say as a producer of many first-time filmmakers, is that if you stick with it long enough and you keep trying and you never give up, it will pay off. And I think that with Liz, putting her best foot forward when it came to so many different endeavors prior to creating the Dale and bringing it and marketing it and bringing it to the world, she never gave up. Hi, I'm Andre Gaines. I'm the executive producer of The Lady in the Dale, and it's coming to you on January 31st on HBO and HBO Max.